Hillary, thank you so much for coming on the Abundant Ambitious podcast. Like, we only kind of met, I guess, like 2 weeks ago, and I felt so called to jump into a mentors call with Madeline from Healthy Hustlers, and I didn't even know what it was about, and I was just like, I kind of need to do this. I don't have any plans, and when I dropped in, the energy and the presence, like, I felt, and when I left, like, absolutely, like, just magnetism I felt after that call.
Aw, thank you. That's such a nice reflection to hear. I remember when I dialed in, I had just come out of a retreat, so it was almost like I was like, what am I talking about? What are we doing here again? And it was such a beautiful group. I loved connecting with you, so thank you.
And it was just so funny too, because I only learned about human design this year, turning 30. So I probably have been navigating human design now for probably about 8 months, kind of going, oh
Cool.
yeah. But I was just kind of like, I didn't feel quite like into
Yes.
it. And then when I dropped in, was like, I'm a mini gen, and you sent me the link, and I wasn't. Mind blown. I was like, what do you mean? And I've been on like this evolution these last 2 weeks
Wow.
and rabbit hole. And I was even saying to Madeline yesterday that I feel so like more grounded. I feel so at home and embodied in myself than what I have these last 8 months. Like, really tapping into like that life force that you talk about. Like, I really
Yeah.
I feel my most magnetic self now, that I feel more aligned, knowing like I'm a generator, I'm a 3-5
Yeah.
profile, and I'm doing a lot more things intentional with my human design.
That is music to my ears.
Yeah.
That's a testament to you. And thank you for receiving. And thank you for, yeah, you're doing the work. So it's beautiful.
Might
And
even be a human design student next year.
Rita,
I
yes,
guess, yes. I was
absolutely.
just like, you know what? I feel really called to. Like, I
Yeah.
obviously see clients on a daily basis, and I can't stop talking about it.
Yeah,
It's,
that's
yeah,
always the biggest
yeah,
sign.
it's the biggest sign. And you know how many times I've been to your website, entered their details?
Oh,
And
good.
I was like, I can't tell you exactly what all of this means.
This is
You,
a
yeah,
gist.
this is the gist of
Yeah.
it. Yeah. And I was just like, it almost lights me up. Like,
Well, it
it's like
does. It
that
sounds like
life,
it.
yeah, that life
Yeah.
force thing you feel. And now that I know what my human design is, I feel so called to, I can pick up where my life force is like, yes, I'm
Yeah.
drawn to this, and no, like, don't do that.
Yeah, well, that's your generator. That's your guide. That's it's your navigation. It's your compass. It's saying, oh, we're excited here. We're expanded. Our energy feels invigorated, and a lot of we don't realize that that's what we're meant to follow. And so you're giving yourself permission there, and it's really beautiful. I always think it's really interesting when you might come across something and it doesn't feel relevant yet, and maybe it was because you thought you were a manifesting generator, so the interest wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
And then when then when the time calls and you're ready to receive it and life is ready to like support you in it, and then it's just like, off you go.
I know, so wild. And I know you've just been on your retreat to Tibet. I'm not very
Nepal.
geographically. Oh,
Nepal. Yes, but they were
yeah.
Tibetan monks, so
Yes,
you're there,
yes.
yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that, because I've
Yeah.
listened to your recent podcast. I've listened to it twice
Oh,
because I actually got like a lot of insight from it, because I'm going through this whole like energetic spiritual process.
yeah.
And obviously Saturn return is something that I'm
Yeah.
been through, or I'm still going through. I'm not quite
Yeah.
sure. But you're talking obviously about the monkey mind, and how like we are so, as people, like we put our problems onto others, or we have this like anger or emotion attached to it, but it's not necessarily, we need to be neutral on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So while I was there, a lot of the time we were in silence. And one thing that I kept on, I guess realizing more and more, it was something that I knew, when you know something, but it's like that real deep embodiment of understanding. And I started to see that how your perspective is everything in life, and it creates your reality, because you're looking through your lens of the life, and everything around you is technically neutral, but we create meaning, we create stories around it, and we also can, try and identify ourselves within it. So it's like, who am I in this? And what does this mean about me then? What does this mean about this relationship? And what can happen is that we go down these, some would say like spirals, but we don't actually realize that they're not real, that it is just a story that's getting bigger and bigger in our mind. Absolutely, emotions are real, 100%. Anger is real, sadness is real. But this has been scientifically proven as well, that it lasts 30 seconds. Like true anger is 30 seconds. And when you really feel it and you really let yourself without, blaming or, giving it to someone else, when you truly just feel like I am so angry right now and you feel it, it passes. But what happens is that we create all of these defenses, stories, and narratives that then mean that they can last for some people years. And so what I started to realize is that we don't actually have problems in our lives. We have problems in perspective.
Yes.
It's like we think that happened, so I'm a failure. That happened, so they're out to get me. Rather than saying like an event happened. An event happened, full stop. I don't need to then create a story about what that means about me or what that means about them. And in doing that, you actually problem solve better, but you start to see life for what it is rather than for just a story or the monkey mind, as you said. And so I started seeing more and more and was able to be, we were meditating a lot while I was there, but I could see myself just like narrating my life as I was going along. I was just walking along and just like, how we have a movie. It's just like we have these narrators. And it's like, if we choose the narrator's story or the narrator's voice, then we're more in a position of the life experience we want. Because, two people can be looking at the same event and have two different narrations of it. And so a lot of people are walking around just constantly thinking and saying really negative things about themselves, mostly. And then, you wonder why you don't ask for the raise or say the thing that you truly mean or start the business, because the narrator is telling you it's not possible, that you're not enough. So, yeah, your perspective is everything. And especially during your Saturn return, because you really you start to wake up to a lot of your stories.
100%.
Yeah.
Like I've been through such like an energetic recognition almost this year.
Beautiful.
I've almost noticed like I almost had like this I'm not worthy story that I've been told like my entire life. And I noticed it in a lot of friendship like groups that like I was seeking validation. Like I wanted somebody to validate me or, hold me to a standard. And I was always kind of wondering, why do friendships always feel one-sided? And I went through this huge energetic shift where I've kind of gone, you know what, like if I'm not receiving as well as I'm giving, I literally was like, nope, like it's just a sign to say, stop giving and eventually what you'll receive. And in the last maybe 3 or 4 months, I have met the most beautiful, connected souls like Madeline's in yourself. And it lights me up. It's just like, it's so crazy when you don't realize in the thick of it the mismatch you can have with somebody until you look at from an outsider perspective and you kind of go, oh my goodness, like I can see the red flags. Like it just wasn't there. And when you meet people that you're so aligned with, it's just like, it's such a like wholesome feeling.
Yeah. And it's like, it's showing you something, I think whenever we have patterns in life, it's always like, I'm all about radical responsibility. And it's all about like, okay, what part of me invited this in?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so I have a tendency to people please, or I have a tendency to overgive, as you said. And I always think it like that energy then attracts people that like to be given to.
Yeah.
And again, like they have their own lesson in teaching in it. And so what it is, it's like, it's so beautiful, exactly as you said, you shifted your energy around it, and then your outer world shifted and changed around it. Beautiful.
It's almost like one of those things, like I used to be like, oh, it's a them problem, like it's not a me problem. And I'd always associate with like emotions. And now I'm kind of like, oh no, like they're on their life journey going through what they're through. It hasn't got anything like to do with me. It's just them going through their thing. And then when you kind of realize that, it's kind of like, oh, like that's kind of really nice.
Yeah. I love that, because actually this was something that some of the Tibetan Buddhist teachers, the monks, were saying. They said a beautiful way to help us to feel truly empathy for another person. So they call it equanimity, and it really like, it's really changed and shifted things when I see in other people as well. It's like everyone is just trying to have a little bit less pain in their life and a little bit more satisfaction or happiness. And so it humanizes people that, someone might do something that you don't understand, but really at the end of the day, they're just trying to have a little bit less pain and a little bit more happiness, a little bit less pain and a little bit more happiness. And it humanizes everyone, because, we're all just, there's the famous quote of we're all just walking each other home, but it is really everyone is navigating something. And I'm always like, it's your teacher. Everyone, like if you have someone in your life that, let's say, is always angry at you, okay, it's teaching patience. If there's someone that, you're, as you said, like you feel like you have to overgive to them, it's teaching you boundaries. And it's all for your benefit. Yeah.
And I know, like you were talking about when you were with the monks in Tibet. Oh my God, I'm going to butcher this so much.
No,
you were talking
perfect.
about how they were saying like we can be really clingy with emotions.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So they spoke a lot about how attachment is the biggest cause of suffering.
Yes.
So what happens is, and that's not just attachment to things. So what we do is we're like, okay, I have this new friend, so I need to attach, or I have this new person, they need to stay in my life in order to make me happy. So what they basically spoke about was that it's not that you're, I guess, having these people and then desiring them to stay in your life. It's more that you're creating an over exaggeration that that's what's going to bring you happiness. So what we then do as well is that we attach to certain feelings. So a lot of people may have experienced this, and I've definitely experienced it's like everything's going well, will it all go to shit?
Yep.
And then, then you kind of burst your own bubble because you're afraid of losing it. And so, just like anything in life, I think when we allow the realization or allow the true reality that everything is impermanent, everything is in flux. So good feelings, sad feelings, anger feelings, this too shall pass. And the more that you can just allow energy to just flow through you, the less you are in what they would call suffering. Because when you try and attach and control, and I need to feel like this, it goes against the law of nature of flux.
Forever.
Yeah, nothing's forever, but also as well, like, you're safe and you can be happy regardless of the energy that's moving through you. Like all of it can be okay, all of it's welcome. And even with my human design, I have an emotional authority. And it was something that I really didn't understand before I realized with my human design. I didn't understand my emotional experience, and I didn't let myself feel sad, or I numbed, or it was like, I always told myself I was just logical, I don't have emotions. And when I realized how beautiful emotions are in a human, and like let myself feel the full spectrum of emotions, and I can go from crying to laughing right after, and like when you truly feel it. And I had an experience where I felt really embarrassed, and I like just sat and let myself feel really embarrassed. And lo and behold, and like, last 30 seconds and then it passed. So it no longer has to live in my body, because this is what happens is that we suppress things and we just like, it just stays in your body. And this is trauma. This is disease. This is sickness. People literally get sick.
Yes,
because
energy.
the energy is
and
just
that higher and lower frequency.
and it gets stuck
constantly in those lower like energy feelings, like you were saying with like anger or sadness or frustration. And like I have a science degree, so I understand when like electrons move through atoms, when you're in those lower frequencies, you really do feel that. And then obviously as we're vibrating high and we're moving through the different electron spaces, we're moving up in different frequencies, and you can literally feel it within your body.
Yes. Can you tell me more about that?
Oh, okay.
Please.
So,
from a scientist, tell me. I want to learn from you.
Yeah, so obviously our bodies are made up of cells, and our cells are made up of atoms, and atoms have nucleus or neutrons.
Yeah.
And basically they have positive and negative ions, and they're kind of floating in a free space almost. And what happens during this transition is they're neutral. They're not high, they're not low, but sometimes there's outside environmental aggressors, or there's something happening within you which will make them move into a lower state or a higher state. And there can be anomalies, there can be minerals, there can be so many different components which can affect where your body vibrates. And like you were saying, when we're sad or we're frustrated or we're going through trauma, we kind of sit in that more lower vibration because we don't have the energy or the capacity for our neutrons and our atoms to be able to move into that higher frequency and that higher vibe state. And it's just like that frequency of life. Like when we go through the ebbs and flows of life, like we go through those, we go higher, we go lower, higher and lower. And when we are vibrating at that higher natural state, that is when our cells are their most abundant, they flourish, they're healthy, and you feel your best self.
Thank you. I'm going to re-listen to that. Thank you. That's really beautifully said.
Use my science degree.
Well, please don't. You need to share. You need to share that more because that's powerful and it's really important. Because people miss that. People think it's like, you know, even the words they say or the actions they say. That's a big part of it, but it is the energy behind it. It's your frequency energy, and I never really understood it. Only honestly until recently. And you just perfectly spoke about it, and you were saying the outside stresses. It's like, you know, we can say the life of like, you know, the thing that happens at work or the thing, and the reality is that things are going to happen at work.
Yep.
And the reality is that things are going to happen in your relationship because that's life and it's expanding and growing us. And exactly as you said, it's like, it's our, I guess, it's our responsibility for yourself. Like it's not even necessarily that you have to do it for other people. Other people will benefit. But it's like, okay, how can I shift back into your energy? Let that be your number one job, you know, like I think about that in the morning. If I'm operating more of like, you know, doubt or negativity, it's like my number one job before I touch my work, before I speak to a friend is, you know, getting myself good, not from a place of that anything is wrong or that shaming of myself of like, then I can start moving through the world. That's where I'm going to be of highest contribution to the world.
And
So you always have to factor yourself in first.
God, and it's like those things, like if you're neglecting your mental health, your physical health, you know, the way you feel energetically within your body, of course you're going to be like vibrating in that lower vibrancy. So you're not going to attract opportunities. You're not going to attract abundance because the universe isn't ready to give you what you want because you're not quite yet vibrating at the frequency it needs to give you what you need.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Love.
I know, it's so powerful. But I wanted to touch base in this episode as well because I feel like there's something that you and I can obviously resonate really well with. And Mads knows I've really struggled with being seen, like that visibility thing. And I think we spoke about it a little bit when you jumped on the call and I was talking about like that fear of being seen. And it's such like a powerful thing to kind of go through. We go through stages of life where it's like, I'm so scared of what so-and-so might think. I am so scared. And it's almost like we're acting from that place of lack and we almost like put our projections onto other people. It's like, oh, I can't attract the money I want because of this. And I kind of wanted to dive a little bit into that with you because now that I'm out the other side and I don't have that fear of, you know, judgment or that fear of being seen, it's like such a beautiful thing to encompass.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I was just when you said that, I was like, well, look at you now.
And look at me thriving.
I know. I'm proud
you're
of you.
so scared. And it's such a hard thing to navigate. I grew up in a small town, so very small town mentality. And it's really hard to put yourself out there because, you know, so-and-so down the street's going to be having those nitpitty talks. But when you put that behind you and you just do what energetically feels good for you and lights you up, that background noise doesn't even affect us anymore.
I know. It's so interesting. It was really challenging for me as well moving through it. It was probably my biggest, I guess, I don't like block the word, but it distorted my energy because I was worried so much about that. And I used to care so much what people thought. I just even, you know, even when I was a teenager or in my 20s, it was debilitating. And I think what we can, you know, when it comes from the fear of being seen, it's not the fear of necessarily being seen, it's the fear of judgment or the fear of rejection or the fear of abandonment. And to really normalize that is an important, like belonging as a human is one of the most important survival things. Like in order to belong and to be part of your tribe and to feel accepted is really, really pivotal for our own evolution. What happens is that we receive the messaging or, you know, it becomes the story of I can't be my authentic self and belong. So what happens is that we throw out our authenticity, the things we want to do, the things we actually care about because no, I need to belong. And so even just realizing of, okay, so I'm doing something to belong. And in doing that, and what really helped me at the start of this, you know, moving through fear of being seen, I thought about like, okay, well, who do I actually want to belong to? Because you're not worried about your best friend judging you. You know, maybe if that relationship, you don't feel like you can be yourself. But usually it's like the random girl from high school. Or, you know, I had a girl called Lucy that she was just always
over there
thinking
Oh my
about
goodness.
Lucy, you
Yeah.
know, and it's always like we have those one or two people. And so again, beautiful teacher,
Yeah.
beautiful teacher. She is teaching me to feel self-confident. She's teaching me to be okay in myself and to know that I do belong. And so I think it is a beautiful practice of, you know, making the service or the desire bigger than the fear. You know, the fear of being seen, it's so much about the self and, you know, it is confronting. But what really helped me was like the mission and the desire and the care and the wanting to give and the thing that I wanted to do. It was like overflowing from me that I couldn't let this like, you know, little fear or became a big fear to stop me from doing what my soul and what my intuition knew to be true. And what you're basically doing, because it's showing your subconscious, your body, that you are safe every time you become and you show yourself it's safe to be me. It's safe to share in this way. It's safe to speak on this. It's safe to post on this. It's safe. It's safe. And you're doing it until your body really, truly believes it's safe, until it no longer feels the scary, we're going to lose our life if we're seen. And so I really do believe that the fear of being seen, like, yes, you can do so much subconscious work around it, and I did at the time, but also as well, you have to start doing the courageous thing to
Yep.
show you that it's
Messy
okay.
action.
The
Like, you
messy
just have to do
action.
it.
Exactly. No, and I know we've spoken about this, but it's like the people that you thought were going to judge you the most end up being the ones that really, you
Don't
know,
give two
come and
shits.
celebrate. Yeah, they don't give a shit, or they just come and celebrate. And I think the most important thing to remember is that like what is relevant what is relevant for your evolution. And so if some people, you know, fall away, that's okay.
It's natural evolution.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a big breakup. It can just be a natural progression. But we never want to dictate our lives by people that, would judge us.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of it, they're not even, but you don't want your life decisions to be based on the 1% minority that could judge you.
And I used to run my business like this because
Yeah.
I'm a huge people pleaser. I'm an overgiver, and I almost have like a sense of abandonment. Like, I have abandonment issues from a child, and I'm really learning to overcome and work through these
Beautiful.
types of things. But I ran my business for a lot of years from, you know, people pleasing, cutting my prices. And it was almost like, why am I not attracting the right people? Why is my business not thriving? And when I really looked at it and go, oh my God, I was like trying to please everybody but not please myself,
Yeah.
everything shifted. And even my business now, I look at it and go, I am thriving. Like, I'm working less. I'm enjoying everything more. I get to, you know, took a day off in the middle of the week and I get to podcast on Thursdays and Fridays. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
But if you had said to me like 18 months ago that I would be working from a place of love and not from a place of fear, I wouldn't have believed you. Yeah.
I love this example because, you know, a lot of the time, even with fear of being seen, we think that we're afraid of other people judging us. But the reality is that we have a belief or we think that there's something to be judged. You know, it's similar. Like, I always think of this example when a word, or we'll say someone calls you something, it will only hit if there is a part of you that believes it. So if I said to you, you're purple, you would be like, Hillary, I'm not purple. Like,
No, I'm orange at the moment.
but you know, you'd be like, you're crazy. But if someone says something that you might have a little bit of a tinge to and it hits something, so it's like with the fear of being seen, it's that we fear that something within us that we judge about ourselves, even just slightly, you know. Mine was big about the spirituality. I was like, you know, I've come from law, I've come from, you know, I was also this like more of a just like party girl, and now I'm talking about all these spirituality things. I really judge myself for it. And so we then attract the same energy that we have. So you beautifully said that when you were operating more from that loving, I have nothing to prove, I'm overflowing with service, because that's how I truly feel. It's like life force just wanting to serve and give and contribute, then you receive that same energy back. But when you're feeling like I have to overgive or people please, you feel like there's something lacking within you. So you receive the clients that
Yes.
operating in lack as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even like the conversation and the language is really different. So I've
Good.
even noticed like the language of people, like I live in the beautiful like hinterland. I have a very beautiful home. You know, I spent a lot of years like working myself up to be able to build it. And, you know, up be a
Amazing.
couple of acres. I always wanted a hobby farm. But people who are working from that place of lack see that as, oh, you're so lucky. Oh, like look at
Ah,
you. Yeah, it's like almost like this language thing that I kept hearing all the time. And then now that I have obviously switched different frequencies with clients, it's like, oh my God, good on you. It's such like a different frequency. Like when I hear people talking about money and that like, oh, lucky you type thing. And then people who now are not depreciating my services, they're coming from a place of like higher almost, if that makes sense.
oh,
Yeah, it's the
yeah.
language. And I'm a huge believer the language we speak every day,
Yeah,
we're subconsciously listening to,
sure.
even though you mightn't logically think it, because sometimes I allow my logic to override my subconscious. I'm very much like, oh, like I can kind of see like all the differences through like my brain trying to override. I guess I don't know where I'm going now with this.
Yeah, well, I think words
Yeah.
are like spells, they say.
Yeah.
And I think it's a cool topic to talk about, the
Yes.
lucky topic, because I agree. I think it's really interesting when
Mm.
we say like it's luck. And I think it's such a
Yes.
disservice to people when I don't believe in luck. I
No.
see that you're just aligning with your life force. When you align with your life force, and that's your free will. Your free will is whether you align with your life force, power of intention, divine guidance, your intuition, however you want to call it. There's so many different words, your high
Yep.
frequency. When you align with that, and that's often the scary path because that's very uncertain and that's
Mm.
very, you can't prove that path.
No. It's an unknown
It's
path
an
that no one's taken
unknown.
because it's unique to
Absolutely.
you.
Exactly. And it's beyond your five senses,
Mm.
so you can't even see where you're going or you don't know, it's like it's such a trusting, knowing path. So that's how I see luck. And that requires like a lot of brave action. That requires a lot of honest conversation with yourself and with life and with other people. So yeah, luck is an interesting thing because a lot of people that you see as lucky is a lot of hard work. And even if we go zoom out even further, like people will speak about like, you have your karmic path here as well. Like not everyone comes with the same journey. And so you might look at someone and be like, they're so lucky, but we also don't know what they're navigating or what they've moved through. Like we're very quick to say, oh, like, oh, they just got that, or they just, and it's like, no, we have no idea. Everyone has something that they've moved through.
It was like a discussion I was having yesterday about life reincarnation. It's
Cool.
just like almost like the souls who haven't yet been reincarnated, multiple times. They're still learning, they're still fumbling and finding their feet. Whereas the souls who, they can go through life with ease and like they know who they are at their core. Like they've lived here so many times before and they're so wise and they're just so unique within themselves. And it's such a beautiful thing to see. And now that I've seen that, like I even feel with you, like I feel like you're such a wise, magnetic soul with so much energy that like literally pouring from like beaming from you. I can feel it. Like I was just like, I feel like you have been here so many times.
Thanks. I feel very much still a student and
Yeah.
I
You're like, I'm
feel
still learning.
I'm still learning. I don't want to claim to be anything but no, I think we've all had many lives
Yeah.
and yeah, I feel like we're all just learning and this is the whole point of
Yeah.
life is
And
this point of being human. It's like, we've all got something we're
yes.
navigating, and
Yeah.
it's often going to be something that maybe childhood activated in
Mm.
us and there's some form of a journey and that's the whole point here, really.
And it's like coming back to that whole thing of energy. Like, and when you open your eyes and you actually see, like, oh, I can understand now where energy comes from and how I can feel and tap into it, then it all kind of comes back to like human design, which I really want to tap back into a little bit
Yeah.
here. Because when I was first introduced to human design, I was like, what do you mean? Like, I'm just not an Aquarius. Like, I'm an Aquarius with my sun in Aquarius and my moon
Oh,
in
you're such an
Aries.
Aquarius. I
Yes.
love it.
Although sometimes I'm like, am I an Aquarius? I don't know.
Such an Aquarius thing to say.
And then I was like, oh, like birth chart is just like I'm a star sign. And then when someone was like, no, you're human design, I was like, what do you mean I could like live my life based around something that I can't even understand? And I would really love to not dive deep because I know we don't have the
Yeah.
time or capacity to fully understand human design. But for someone listening who might be new or doesn't even know what human design is, could you like explain a little bit about the
Yeah.
life forces between maybe the little bit of energies and what it actually does for people.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, absolutely. It's your energetic blueprint of your true highest self. So it is who you came here to be and to further become. So it speaks a lot about in human design, deconditioning. So for a lot of us, we've picked up stories and, you know, what we mentioned today of like feeling not enough, feeling unworthy, and then it creates these behavioral patterns from that. And so the whole process is the unbecoming of all of that within human design. And you're left with who you are as, you know, a divine being, a divine life force, passionate, magnetic human that every single person is. And, you know, actually Ra, the creator of human design, he would speak a lot about, because you're a generator, about like we need to free the generators because there are so many frustrated generators in the world and it operates at that lower frustrated energy. And so what it does, it liberates your life force, it liberates your true self authenticity so you can be of your highest contribution. I think people forget that, you know, the thing that you enjoy, the thing that you love, the thing you're interested in, the thing that you want to talk about all the time, the thing that you feel called towards is part of your contribution here. Whether that is whether that is being a mother, or whether that is having, you know, the thing that came to mind just then is like a garden that people come and visit, or whether that means that you do something like this with a podcast. Like, I think we have this idea that there's this ranking of what's better or worse or more important. You know, if you're interested and passionate about global climate change, beautiful, like give your energy to that. And so what human design does is connects you with like your intuitive path so that you know. So it's different with astrology, because astrology is more about telling you about, look, I'm actually not that much of an expert in astrology, so I don't want
Neither am I.
don't want the astrologists to come at me, because they're like, no, Hillary, that's not what it does. I'm actually going to leave that because I don't want the astrologists to come at me. But what human design does, it totally just gives you the licensing and the understanding of how to find your answers. So you might hear so many times, like people will say, you have your answers within, or you know, or like, you know, just do what feels right for you. And people are like, but I don't know, like where do I find my answers? And this is what human design does. It will show you how to connect with that. And it's all based on your intuitive body. And yeah, then you can actually move forward confidently in the direction of your dreams, which will be in the direction of your highest service here. I truly believe, again, because we just spoke about it in Nepal with the Tibetan monks, they really said this and it really rung true to me. The happiest, most fulfilled people are the ones that have devoted themselves to service. And I remember being in law and just feeling like, I'm not what I'm meant to be doing. I know I'm meant to help people. I know.
Resistance.
Yeah. And I think everyone feels that. And I really, truly believe if you don't have an avenue to give your life force or something that feels meaningful for you, you become apathetic. You become frustrated with life. You become angry.
Lower vibration.
But even like it's not even for the vibration. It's like it's a part of being human is that we need something to be able to give our energy to, whether that is your family or whether that is your work or something you do, or your home or your garden, but there needs to be something, because then your energy's moving. This stagnancy that we see with people just sitting and watching Netflix and on their phone, it's kind of scary. And like, I'm not saying that I don't do that as well, but I recently heard this and it's so true. We'll think about scrolling the same as how we think about smoking now, about like how we can't believe that people just used to smoke and not realize what it does to your health. And when you think about that with like scrolling and how much we're numbing and how scary it is what it's doing to our attention span,
language
it's speaking to us in music, in movies, we're all watching horror, murder mysteries. Yeah. And then wondering why you don't sleep well at night, or wondering why you don't trust anyone. Yes. And it is feeding, it's creating your mental, you're hypnotizing yourself. So it's just interesting. It's just good to have awareness. Like have awareness when you choose the horror show, like that what it's doing, it's like it's your free will and your choice.
And it's almost too like sitting here, like reflecting. I've always said, like, when I don't do something I love, I feel stagnant and I feel stiff and I'm not moving in the right way.
Yeah.
And now learning about being a generator, like, I now know that if it's not a gut yes, it needs to be a no.
Yes.
Which now that I'm doing more of, I'm like, oh my God, like, why haven't I been doing this and not more aware of it? And I think I was aware of like, oh, like if I'm not like moving or doing the things right for me, I felt stiff. I just didn't know that that was my life force. Literally saying, Crystal, like that doesn't feel right. Like what you're doing, you need to do what's lighting you up.
Yeah, it's almost too simple.
Yeah,
It's
literally.
I actually recently made a friend and she was like, if it doesn't light me up, if it's a yes, and she made a little diagram. She said, if it's a yes, do it. If it's a no, don't, like, it's out.
That's literally my motto in my head now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it can be that simple, but, to normalize it, that we don't live in a society or we don't grow up where that's an option.
No.
And again, not to like shame anyone or to be angry or to feel like anything needs to blame. But at the same time, it's like when you realize at the perfect moment. I feel like everything is so divinely timed. It's like not a movement too late, not a moment too soon. And then you truly know as well what's not for you. I think it's really helpful to know what's not for you as well. So yeah, just even that is such a powerful permission slip of if your life force doesn't feel activated in something, or if you feel almost, that friction, not from a mental place, your mind can resist. Even when it's the right thing for you. I see it as a 3-prong approach. You're going to have your intuitive desire. In expansion, your gut is saying yes. Amazing. That's your first tick. You're going to have, second of all, you're going to have mental resistance. If it's actually something important, if it's something that is going to move the needle for fear, scare, doubt, opponent voice, I sometimes say, because that means you're about to edge onto more light, more expansion, that voice gets loud. So it's a good sign if you feel afraid. It's a good sign if you feel doubt. It shows you that there is a really big breakthrough coming. And then the third one, I often feel like there is some universal support. Things just keep like popping into your awareness. You keep hearing that book multiple times, that person multiple times, human design multiple times. It's like it's in my awareness. I can't seem to like kind of like remove myself from this. So the 3-prong, intuitive desire, mental resistance is a good sign. It means it's a big deal. And there's like a universal energy and support that you feel.
Amazing. Well, Hillary, I would love to know from your perspective. So for me, the Abundant and Ambitious podcast is obviously to connect with more like-minded women. I obviously want to be of service because I believe like every woman deserves to be successful. Like we all deserve to have such amazing and abundant opportunities. And I really love talking about these types of topics, manifesting and almost kind of helping people guide them to their next level self.
Yes.
As a generator and a 3-5 profile, do you think that aligns with my human design?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anything that lights you up aligns with you.
Yeah.
If you could just feel your life force, I could feel you lighting up about that work and that topic and that passion for women to be able to feel free and abundant. So absolutely. If anything that gives you that energy is going to be aligned for you. Human design will never tell you the what, and I love that because that means you have free will. It's your decision. I don't believe that anyone should ever tell you. I will never tell a client what they should do. It's like giving you options as a generator. You have a buffet of life, all the different options. If you then decided I'm lit up about science and speaking about, neutrons, I'd say absolutely, that's your topic. And I would say to even incorporate that a little bit more because I could see how excited you were to talk about that. And like this is the thing, you get to make it your way, and it's beautiful that you're speaking and teaching that to your clients of, you get to have it all. Why not? And that's all, and again, so regeneratory. It's like pleasure, desire, enjoy this life. Like what's the point? We're not here to suffer. And that's the real teaching of the generator.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
And I also want to just touch on the topic. So I know you also do retreats.
Yeah.
Tell me about what your retreats are. Like, are they human design based? Like, I'd love to know more about that because I feel like as I'm like diving into my human design rabbit hole, I'm like, I've never had any desire to go to Bali. But when I saw you had a human design thing in Bali, I was like, maybe I do want to go to Bali. Like, maybe I want to dive into this rabbit hole. So I'd love to know what a retreat from your perspective and what you hold space for so that people can kind of get an understanding. So if they feel invited to come to something that you might be holding, they can kind of go, I want to go see Hillary for Human Design because she is amazing and I connect with her.
Thank you. Well, why I started retreats was because I was all about, I wanted it to be an embodiment of the work. So a lot of the time we are learning these different modalities or things, and it's that felt experience when you're on a retreat. You actually start to meet yourself in more deeper levels, and you start to experience and activate that life force or that creative ideas. It happens in the space. And so when you're in, like, speak about frequency, when you're in this frequency where your transformation is inevitable. So we explore different avenues, but a lot of it is going to be this like waking up to yourself and also the releasing and the shedding of the narratives that no longer resonate with this next timeline. So yeah, it's deep work, my retreats. They're not for the faint-hearted. Yeah, they're beautiful. They're beautiful, and it always attracts the most incredible women. And especially Bali, especially Bali brings a heightened energy.
About Bali, isn't there?
Bali is the most spiritual place.
Okay.
It's so beautiful. Every morning, the Balinese will do their offerings to gods and offerings to their land, and it is so potent and incredible. The energy in Bali, it has this feminine energy. So I've always loved to have retreats there. It heightens everything, and you feel really held. Because I think when you feel that type of mother energy, you can even go deeper. So it always brings people from all over the world there as well. But I would invite people, you don't have to, not my retreat, no, doesn't have to be my retreat,
no,
any retreat, give some space for yourself.
Yes.
I think when you're in these types of environments, you can uncover and meet aspects of yourself that you don't in your everyday life. And once you know, you can't unknow.
Yes.
So when I've gone on retreats, it's like I've felt a certain way, or I've forgiven a certain thing, or I've remembered something. And when you can access this level of awareness and like love and compassion for yourself and for another, it heals something. It heals something that you then can take into your everyday. You also get all your clarity and your ideas. So many people are like forcing themselves to get on their laptop and do these big days. And it's like, sometimes you do need to take this space and you'll get the idea. You'll get the download. You'll get the clarity.
It's almost like when you feel safe and you feel so held, it's almost like you feel vulnerable to parts of yourself that you've never kind of really known, that with like Pandora's box almost. Like you're kind of like, oh, like I feel so safe to open that vulnerably, and you allow yourself to feel. So it's almost as if when you come out of like retreats like that, you are your next level self. Like not that I have experienced it yet. I am planning on going through the journey and process of it, but I feel like that's what I'm envisioning when I go on a retreat. Like I can see myself allowing myself to be vulnerable because I can be held in a safe space, and then I can see myself, the evolution of like, the cocoon, like the caterpillar going in and becoming the butterfly. Like I can visually witness that.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because it's the power of intention. So when a space has been created, and especially this current one coming up in Bali, like I was recently actually sharing this on Instagram. It was such a energy of surrender. I did not think I was going to do another retreat this year. It was like personal preference. I had already been to Bali 6 times in the past 2 years.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, that's complete. I don't need to be heading back there anytime soon. And it was so strong. The pull, the call, I downloaded the exact journey. It was a totally new retreat. It's now this one's called the Awaken Retreat. And it was very clear to me. In saying all of this, it's like when you have, like, that is like divine inspiration. So everyone comes, and it was my fastest, quickest selling, really beautiful group of people that are like very ready to receive what we have in store, and who even knows what's going to happen. But when you come in that power of intention, it's crazy what can happen for this in 4 days. Even in the first opening circle, you start to like just how the women show up. It's somewhat insanity. Like most people will say, I've never spoken like this in my life, even to my closest friends. And it's because this is what I believe, the energy of life force and intention, it brings and activates something within you that you even get greater awareness and greater understanding that you have than you've ever before. Speaking of like even what you were just saying with the scientific, with the atoms, like depending on the environmental experience, it will quite literally change how you operate. And we are made of millions and millions and
Billions.
millions of
Brilliant.
vibrating
Yes.
atoms.
Yes.
And it's like, it makes sense when you actually properly think about it. But yeah, and a lot of the time, again, people will have mental resistance to spaces like this because it can be scary to meet those aspects. But I always believe that you can only receive what you can hold. You can only go as deep as your nervous system will let you. That's why it's so important to feel safe in these spaces, because if your nervous system is in a fear response, you can't hold anything. You can't receive anything. I feel like you can always know where your nervous system is at, is how you react in life. So, for example, if sometimes, especially if I haven't been meditating, I can be very clumsy. If I'll like drop, a matcha, how I respond to that, if I have a like, or I get upset, or if I'm like, then I know my nervous system is really heightened. If something knocks over and I'm like, oh yeah, just knocked over.
Okay.
Oh, okay, we'll pick it up. That's when you know you have more capacity in your nervous system, or if something happens in your
cue.
life. Yeah, again, life will always show you. So if you're in really reactionary mode, you know that your nervous system is just like, you're at your high, like you can't take any more. Exactly. So yeah, you'll only receive what you can hold. And as well, I always just believe with any type of self-curiosity work, I truly want to know, because it's creating my life anyway.
Yeah.
My subconscious is creating my life. So I'd rather know what's in there. I'd rather be aware of what patterns are repeating. I'd rather, have awareness around it so I can actually make change, rather than it just subconsciously and autopilot creating my life.
It's a really good way to look about it, because I've
it's
never
creating
thought
your life
about it
anyway.
like that. Yeah. Because it really does. It like creates 95% of your reality.
exactly.
And I didn't really think about that, because I know there's some deep little dark spots in my subconscious that I am slowly opening and navigating, like we're getting there.
Yeah.
But I just want to circle back here a little bit, because I'm actually curious from your perspective. Everyone talks about downloads, and I've got no idea what, how, even who, what, when. How do these things happen? Because I'm genuinely curious. How does someone receive a download, or how do you know that you are getting a download?
Yeah, well, it's going to come through different for everyone. It can just be a thought.
Okay.
So a download is connection to divine intelligence.
Okay.
So around us, even as well, like it's like there is this energy of creation. Everything, like even this, it's not real, but if this plant was real, well, I know we're not on, you're probably listening on a podcast, but even with a plant, you can think about it, it just knows how to grow.
Yep.
Even with birds, it just knows where to fly in the different hibernation, or the whales when they're moving. So there is a divine intelligence. There is a divine intelligence, and the animals are actually more connected to it than us. We're a lot of monkey mind and overthinking. The humans think too much.
A lot of logic.
Logic, exactly, which is the exact opposite. And we've lost a lot of it because of that. We've championed logic over intuition. Really what downloads are your intuition. So what you're doing is basically you're connecting to divine intelligence, or to intelligence, let's just say that. And so what that really is that there is a point where you have the space that's opened up for it to become present. Okay. It's not even like it, sometimes we think download like it's coming in download, and that's how it can
Could
feel.
be like a random drop in almost.
Yeah, it's just it can be a thought. Yeah. It can be an intuitive thought. Mine comes in as a thought. Okay. And so people don't that's where people get confused. It's like, is it just my mind, or is it my intuition? And so the way, and I was actually even thinking about this yesterday, it's hard sometimes to decipher. And even yesterday I was, left a key out for my grandma. I had to go in and get something from her house. And as I was walking away, I was like, I should move that key. And I could tell it wasn't my intuition, because I could feel anxiety around it. It was like, no, you need to move the key, you need to move the key, you need to move the key, you need to move the key. And I was like, that's fear. That's fear. Because when it's usually your intuition in a download, it's clear. It won't even repeat itself often. I even thought about it this morning. Actually, no, it's to come here. As I was leaving, it was like, grab your phone charger. And I was like, oh no, it doesn't matter. I've got a full battery. Anyway, I get here, I don't have a full battery. And I was like, oh yeah, that was my intuition. Like that can even be a download.
Wow.
So a download is an idea.
Yep.
It's just that knowing. But the thing is, your knowing doesn't try and prove itself. Everyone has a knowing. Okay. Everyone is intuitive. You get downloads. It's just, you might be thinking a download is different to what you think it is. It's just a thought.
Yeah.
But it's intuitive thought. It's an idea.
I was thinking it was like going to be a beam like coming through.
Well, sometimes it can feel like that. Sometimes it can feel like that. It's a realization. So that can be just a change in perspective. I was thinking about this as well recently. It was like, when you see something from a different perspective and you're like, oh, that's why I did that, or oh, that's why that person's like that, or oh, that's why that happened. That's a download.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, Hillary, I wanted to touch on this, and I'm so lucky I have yesterday's guest in the podcast studio today because I actually can't remember what she said, but I should say, sorry, wanted to start like a podcast tradition where I wanted to ask each guest to leave a piece of advice for my next guest. And Mads actually left a really beautiful piece of advice for you. So I'm going to ask Madeline if she can reference back to what she said because I haven't got the audio yet to know exactly what she said.
Come on to
Yes.
the
Come on in.
to the mic. I feel like that'd be so
please,
cute.
please come on in.
Yeah. Okay. I'm actually just a content girl today. But what did I say? I said to really embrace and be present with your grounded energy because you have so much wisdom to share and hold and to just enjoy being in her beautiful presence.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, not knowing who my next podcast guest could be, I would love for you to leave just one piece of advice that could potentially maybe change their life, change their day, or change their world.
Trust yourself. Trust where you're feeling called in this moment is for a higher reason, for yourself, for what you're here to give to the world. And you can't make a wrong decision in that. So keep trusting yourself. I feel like, trust until it continues to become a knowing.
Love that so much.
Yeah, I'm feeling cool. Like I'm feeling into the energy. I don't know who the next person is,
Yes.
but I'm feeling in the energy that they're like struggling with a bit of uncertainty and really like to keep trusting themselves. They've got it.
I really
Like
love
don't
that.
try and prove the path. Like just walk it. Trust yourself and your capabilities. You don't have to trust life. Like you don't even have to trust life. Like trust yourself in that anything that navigates, you're going to be fine and it's going to be exactly how it's meant to be.
And I'm so going to tell you off camera who it is because I'm pretty sure I know who it is. And I think this might kind of resonate a little bit maybe. I'm not sure, but I can't wait. But if people are listening to the podcast, my love, like how can they... Oh, yes, sorry.
Oh, good. No, it's for the audio.
If people are listening to the podcast, how can they find you? Like what's your Instagram handle? Tell us about your podcast. Like I would love for my listeners to be able to connect with you so they can obviously help kind of see what could be energetically blocking them. Not that like we want to use the word block, but like help them align to where they're going in their journey of self-growth.
Thank you. And this has been such a beautiful interview. Thank you so much. Such an honor to be on here.
You're my second guest, so I'm like number two.
You're such a natural.
Oh, stop it.
That's amazing. No,
I want to give you a big hug.
Incredible. I've really enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you.
And I haven't spoken about a lot of these topics, so I always think that's really great when you're super present and you haven't I haven't just gotten the same questions. That thank you. Designed as You.
Yep.
Instagram. Podcasts. Definitely check out the podcast. That's definitely.
I've loved the podcast,
so much on
by
there.
the way. I've learned about my 3, my 5 profile and more about my generator in the last 2 weeks.
How did that feel?
Oh, so good. I was just like, I didn't know that about myself. And now I'm trying to sit here and reflect and go back through it because there was a lot of, I'm still digesting the information. But I feel like if it's not a gut yes for me, it needs to be a no. And I've been with that mantra for the last couple of weeks with decisions making in business, life. And I even said no going to an immersion. It was something I was invited to and a part of, but I even said no because I had a resistance. And now that I didn't go to that, I got to spend 2 days recording with guests I never thought I'd have the opportunity to because the universe and my life force was telling me that there was something more for me. Yeah.
That's a download.
Yeah.
So that's a download. Yeah. Think of downloads as just it's just a knowing that you can't explain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's exactly it. It's like if you had given your energy, then they wouldn't have lined with the dates and everything. So you always got to trust. Beautiful.
Thank you so much for coming on,
Pleasure.
Hillary. I hope that I can have you back on more to discuss all things about life and evolution. And thank you so much.
Thank you.